Hello friends, in this video we'll be discussing project level scenarios on PL/SQL procedures and functions. But let's first discuss the key differences between the both. So as you can see, both are named PL/SQL blocks, while in function subprograms return a single value mainly used to compute and return a value. But in procedures, subprograms do not return a value directly, although we can return a value using some parameters. Both functions and procedures have three parts to it: declarative part, executable part, and exception handling part. Let's write a basic PL/SQL code to understand the basic functionalities of a PL/SQL procedure. Here we are creating a PL/SQL procedure in which we'll be finding the maximum number between the two. So we are taking three parameters in this function. First is x, which is input parameter, y, which is input parameter, and z, which is output parameter. As we discussed earlier, we cannot directly return a value in a procedure. So for that reason, we need to define an output parameter. Now we are starting with the executable section, as there is no variable to declare in this procedure. Here we are defining an if condition in which we are checking that y is greater than x. So we are defining that if y is greater than x, then maximum is y. And in the else part, we'll be defining the maximum as x. So this is a simple if else condition we are using in this program. Now we'll end the if condition and then we'll add the PL/SQL procedure. Now we'll compile this procedure, and as you can see, this procedure is compiled successfully. Now to execute this procedure, let's create a block. In block, we'll be defining declare section and executable section. In declare section, we are defining a variable with data type as varchar. Now in begin section, we'll be calling our procedure with the parameters. Now as you can see, we have three parameters in our procedures. So we are passing three values: 5, 10 and c. C is a variable which will hold the output. Now we are printing the output value of c. Now we'll execute this block to see the results. So as you can see, this block is successfully compiled and our maximum value is 10. So let's start with the project level scenario. So we need to create a data cleaning solution for landing table. So you can see the data set provided is a landing table. Landing table is a dump of source data which is raw in nature. So we need to apply three business rules on top of this data set to perform data cleansing. So let's start by looking at the data set. So we'll be creating three tables for this solution. First is our landing table customer_L, and this will be having three columns along with error flag column. Now error flag column is a default column, means we don't need to insert data in this column. It will be populated n by default. Now we will be creating a validation table in which we will insert three business rules along with the message and their validation ID. and then the final table will be the reject table, in which we will insert the records if validation failure happens. So this table has four columns: ID, name, phone, and error reason column. Now let's begin writing a PL SQL procedure. This is a declare part in which we are defining few variables along with one cursor. So we are not covering cursors in detail in this lecture, but let me tell you that cursors are of two types: implicit cursors and explicit cursors. Here we are defining an explicit cursor. We'll be covering this topic in detail in separate video. So this cursor holds the data for the customer underscore L table, and there will be three columns: ID, name, and phone number. So let's start with the executable section, which start with begin. Here we are defining a for loop for a cursor. Please note that here we need not require to open cursor and close cursor, as we are defining it inside a for loop. Now here we are defining our first business rule, which is length of a phone number should not be less than or greater than 10. It should be equal to 10. So whenever it is not equal to 10, we will be rejecting such records, and we will insert such records in reject table. So we will insert four columns in reject table: ID column, name column, phone column, and error reason column. So for error reason column, we will be calling one function which will return us the error reason. So for now, just write down the function name with parameter of business rule, and we'll see later on that how this function is working. Similarly, we are writing now the second business rule, which is name should not be null. Otherwise, we'll insert the data in reject table. And now, just in function, we need to change the parameter as number 2, because of it is our second business rule. Now we are starting with our third business rule, which is ID should not be duplicate. So let's write a block inside this for this business rule. So just note that we are calculating count star from customer underscore L table. So we are counting records of customer underscore L table by grouping on ID column. Here we are using not exist because we don't want to consider those records in this block which are having count of IDs equal to 1, means those records are not duplicate. We could have used not in also instead of not exist, but not in does not perform good with null records, so we need to use not exist. We'll be covering not in and not exist queries in separate video. For now, just understand this with the help of business rule. So as you can see, in inner query we are selecting records which have count star equal to 1. And in outer query we'll be selecting records which have count star greater than 1. Now inside this block we are defining a variable with one value, and we'll be defining one exceptions. So basically exceptions are executed when any database rule is violated. So we are defining a predefined exception here, which is no data found. And here we'll set the value of the variable as 0. So no data found exception will be triggered whenever a count star into v count is null. So we are ending a block for business rule 3, and the variables we have defined v error count check will set condition according to this variable. So if value of this variable is 1, means some records are rejected, and we'll insert the data in rejectable. I know this is a bit tricky to understand the business rule 3, but if you can try at your own, then you will understand this thing better. So now we are committing all the inserts and we are exiting the loop for cursor. And in the last, we'll be updating a landing table. As you all know, we have one column in our custom underscore L table, which is error flag. So we'll be updating error flag as Y wherever records are rejected. We'll commit in the last and we'll exit the procedure. So we are not compiling this procedure now because the function is not created. So let's start creating a function. So only motive to create this function is to return an error message from validation table. So input will be our validation ID, which is v error ID. As we know that it is mandatory for a function to return some value. So we are returning a varchar data type value. We have defined one variable in declare section, and in begin section we'll write a query. One more thing to note down here is in functions we can only write select into queries, and not like procedures in which we can write DML statements as well. So we'll take the validation reason column from this table into our variable, and we'll return this variable. So let's compile this function. Compiled successfully. Now let's check this function first. So we'll pass some values in parameter for this function to check that is it running correctly or not. So yes, it is giving us output with validation reason. Similarly for 2 as well. So now let's compile our main procedure. So our procedure is compiled successfully. Now let's run it. So execution completed. Now let's check the data. So first thing is we'll check in the reject table, and 4 records are rejected. One is for mobile number length issue, one is name is null, and 2 are because of duplicate entries. Let's check the landing table that error flag is updated or not. So error flag is updated for 4 records. So we have got the desired result. Thank you for watching this video.